Education in America is changing.
An increasing number of families are choosing to educate their children outside of traditional brick-and-mortar schools. Reporter Claudia Vargas and the NBC10 Investigators took a deep dive into homeschooling in our area. And Claudia, you learned that not all the states treat homeschooling the same way.
That's right, Tracy. Well, homeschooling is growing in all 3 of our states, and each one has its own rules, but they don't all have the same oversight.
Does it say?
It does. Brennan Toner is teaching her 4th grader about reptiles while supervising her 6th grader's nature work and 2nd grader's handicraft.
It's work. There's no getting around that.
Homeschooling isn't how Toner thought she would educate her kids.
The plan was public school.
The Toners moved to a home in the Lower Marion School District for the quality schools. But the COVID-19 pandemic changed everything.
We decided to start thinking about other options.
They are part of the growing homeschool trend in Pennsylvania and throughout the country.
It's becoming a lot more mainstream.
Angela Watson is the director of the Johns Hopkins University Homeschool Research Lab, where she studies national homeschool trends. She says before the pandemic, homeschoolers made up about 2% of the K-12 student population in the U.S. Now, she estimates it's about 6%.
We can't really attribute this growth to the pandemic anymore.
Watson says a younger generation of parents may be more willing to try new education methods. In Pennsylvania, 25,000 students were homeschooled in the 2018-2019 school year, according to statistics from the PA Department of Education. That number jumped to 41,000 during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, then dropped the next 2 years. But it has since increased to nearly 43,000 as of the 2023-24 school year. Delaware had a similar pattern, going from 3,000 homeschooled students in 2018-19 to just over 4,000 this past school year, per state data. New Jersey doesn't track homeschoolers.
Homeschooling policy is controlled at the state level, and literally every state is different.
The Garden State is one that has almost no rules, stating on its Department of Ed website, when parent guardian educate a child elsewhere than at school, they are responsible for the educational outcomes of the child. The local Board of Education is not required or authorized to monitor the outcomes of the child. New Jersey Senator Paul Moriarty wants to change that.
We need to put some parameters around what is homeschooling and how can we check in to find out whether someone is actually getting an education and whether they're safe.
Moriarty became concerned about homeschooling when earlier this year he heard about a Gloucester County couple accused of abusing their daughter for years and keeping her in a dog cage under the auspices that she was being homeschooled. Moriarty introduced legislation in June that would mandate homeschool families meet with a district representative annually.
Demonstrate that the child is learning. And allow the school district to perform a wellness check to make sure the child is actually okay.
Pennsylvania, for example, requires homeschool families to file annual affidavits with an educational plan and health records to the district superintendent. At the end of the year, a certified evaluator has to review the work, and the superintendent signs off on it.
Kind of nice to have a second set of eyes, just sort of validating the work that we've put in.
And Moriarty shared with us that he plans to introduce a second bill this fall, which would add academic requirements to New Jersey homeschoolers, and that's similar to what Pennsylvania currently has.
Does the senator have support for that bill?
So he said he actually got about 500 angry homeschool parents calling him when he introduced the first bill. So he knows it's going to be a tough sell, but he's hoping to work with his colleagues in the Senate and parents also just to get them to understand, from his perspective, that this is a safe thing to do and it's for their own good.
Yeah.
Hey, so our viewers understand, what's the difference between homeschooling and a cyber school?
Yeah. So homeschool, as we kind of mentioned, it can be either mom at home or they have the pods. It's based at home or different locations, but essentially it's not a certified teacher through, that's paid through taxpayers. Cyber charter it can be at home. It's online, virtual learning, but it's through taxpayer-funded schooling. And so that's the main difference. And we actually took a deep dive into cyber charters and looked at the wellness checks that are now required. And there's an issue with some charters, particularly one that hasn't been following it, according to the State Department of Education. So we have that coming up at 6, but before then, we actually have an interview with a father of twin boys who attended one of these charter schools. But during that time, they were allegedly abused and starved. So he is the one raising the questions as to, can more be done through these cyber charters for wellness checks?
Well, oversight definitely needed. All right, we're looking forward to seeing your report. Thanks, Claudia.
Yeah, thanks, Claudia.